The Quinnipiac field hockey team fell to Ryder in the MAAC semifinals. Did they underachieve this season or meet expectations? And the men's hockey team extended its winning streak to 4 games with home wins against 4th-ranked Colgate and Cornell. Have the Bobcats bounced back after a rough start?
Also, the preseason polls for both Quinnipiac's men's and women's basketball teams are out. We discuss where they are predicted to finish and where we think the Bobcats will end up in the regular season. All that and more, coming up next on Bobcat Breakdown.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of Bobcat Breakdown. I'm Fearon.
And I'm Morey Hershgordon. We have a lively show awaiting and want to let you know that we've altered the show a little bit. Instead of a host asking panelists questions, there will be topics about different teams, and Dylan and I will talk about it all. A little controversy, difference of opinions, but Dylan, in the end, it's all sports.
That's right.
Quinnipiac Athletics had a big weekend starting with the field hockey team. Beckamaine's squad defeated Sacred Heart in its final MAAC regular season game, solidifying them a spot in the MAAC tournament. But in the semifinals against Ryder on Friday, the defending conference champions fell to the Bronx 3-1, with Angie King scoring the lone goal. The Bobcats finished the year with an 8-11 record. Dylan, did Beckamaine's squad underachieve or overachieve this season?
See, by looking at the record 8-11, you'd say that they might have underachieved a little bit, but they had a tough non-conference schedule. They played some really good teams like Penn State, like Boston College, like Providence. But to me, they underachieved just a little bit because they started the MAAC regular season on a 2-0 record. On the road, they were 2-0, and then you think, man, they have a really good shot. They're going home for the last 3 regular season games. They have a really good shot at possibly being a 1 seed and going to the dance 2 years in a row. And then they have a lead against Ryder, and they blow it, and they lose. And you're like, okay, things happen. You're 2-1, but still in a pretty good shape. Then you're up 3-1 against Monmouth, and you lose in overtime, 4-3. And really, those 2 players of Monmouth really took it to them. And now you're 2-2, and you're just so close to not even making the MAAC tournament. And then you have to go play Sacred Heart and defeat Sacred Heart, and you did a really good job doing that. And then you beat Villanova, and now your first Big East win in program history, and you're looking like, wow, we're the 4 seed, we just got in. But hey, we're going on the road, we're 2-0 on the road in MAAC play. We can really do something special. And they just really came out flat to start the Ryder game, and they ended up losing.
It was a season of missed opportunities, as you mentioned. 4 losses came in overtime or the final 5 minutes of the game. 3 of those were at home. Beckamaine's squad usually plays very well at home. As you mentioned, they were off to a 2-0 start in the MAAC. I think they did underachieve. UConn, Boston College, Penn State, all teams that were on Beckamaine's schedule, I thought would help prepare this team down the stretch. Right. And I thought once they slid in as that 4 seed into the MAAC playoffs, I thought that experience from last year, I thought Megan Conboy, Danielle Allen would really propel this team to a championship. They fell a little short. Scoring was one of the big downfalls this whole year.
Another thing, Morey, it's really hard to repeat. It's very seldom that you see a team win 2 straight conference tournaments in field hockey, and especially in the MAAC, where it's really close. I mean, Sacred Heart, Monmouth, Ryder, and Quinnipiac, all really good teams and all really tight in those top 4 spots. Another thing is that they're young. Even though they have some experience, they're still a really young field hockey team. I think this year, I expect them to be in the semifinals, maybe even the championship game, but I didn't have them winning the MAAC tournament again. Next year, maybe we'll see, because I think they're going to bring back some other players. They only lose Danielle Allen to graduation. They bring back Meg Conboy and Megan Ossanich, who redshirted as freshmen. They're going to be really good next year, but this year they underachieved just a little bit.
This year, one of the biggest standouts on the field hockey team was goaltender Megan Conboy, who finished up with a 2.22 goals against average. Dylan, aside from Conboy, who stood out to you as being one of the best players on this Bobcats team this year?
It was Danielle Allen by far, because she contributed and she stepped up in conference play, and she was really the only player that did so. She had 2 goals, 2 assists. She really contributed when it counted, and she did it all season long. She played really well in the non-conference schedule, but more importantly, in the conference play, she did really, really well, unlike any other player on the field hockey team. It was definitely Danielle Allen, no question.
I don't know if it's no question. You have a team that finishes under 500 overall. I think you can look towards Savannah Riley, a player who walked on her freshman year, has 6 goals this year, second leading scorer on the team. As a junior, she really asserts herself as one of those key players up top for Beckamaine's squad. The likes of Megan Ossanich, one of the lone senior defensemen on that D-corps that helped the Bobcats defeat Sacred Heart, defeat Villanova later on in the season when we thought they were going to make a run in the MAAC semifinals. But I don't really think there is a true MVP. Up and down the roster, you have a lot of young players, freshmen, sophomores. I was looking at Michelle Federico possibly being an MVP.
But the defense gave up a lot more goals than last year, Morey. A lot more goals than they gave up last year. And the offense really was pretty good, but they didn't show up in conference play. Danielle Allen was the only forward that really stepped up. What did Savannah Riley do in conference play? 1 goal. Didn't have any assists. What did Leah Dietrichs do in conference play? Basically,
it's not all about stats in the box score. It's about the pressure up top and keeping the ball in the opponent's territory.
And Savannah Riley didn't really do that.
And Savannah Riley did do that.
She did. No, Danielle Allen was clearly the MVP of this team. I don't even think Meg Conavoy should be called the best player on this field hockey team.
I don't either. That's why I said there really shouldn't be an MVP. Savannah Riley, I think you can look towards her because she came out of nowhere. You knew what Danielle Allen was capable of doing. That's a normal season for her. Savannah Riley came out going bonkers. 6 goals, most of them, as you said, 5 of them came in the non-conference schedule. She really solidified her position on this team and this offense early on in the season.
Another player to watch out for and recognize was Leah Dietrichs, the sophomore, had 5 goals and 4 assists this season to just her 3 assists and did not score at all in last year's campaign. Moving on, Morey. Looking ahead to next season, the Bobcats are going to return 18 players for the 2015 campaign. Morey, are there any fears, if any, that you have for this team coming up?
No fears. Right. I think Becca Main's squad is going to win the MAAC next year, and this is why.
Agreed.
Megan Conavoy coming back as a goaltender. Dana Barlow, Leah Dietrichs, Angie King, Megan McCullough, Haley Schwartz. You could go down the line. All these players are coming back for their senior seasons, for their junior seasons, for their sophomore seasons. They had a really young core. I don't think Danielle Allen is that big of a loss. Jess Rusin was a bigger loss this year than Danielle Allen will be next year. But I think a crew of young players, I think they were in a lot of close games, played a lot of tough competition this year, and I think all that experience will help them next year in winning the MAAC.
Not only Quinnipiac returning all these players, a lot of teams that were higher than Quinnipiac in the MAAC standings are losing their players. Talk about Monmouth losing Trisha O'Dwyer and Amanda Schoenfield, who combined for 34 goals this season, which is unbelievable. Talk about Ryder is going to be really good next year. They only lose 3 players, 1 starter. But a lot of teams, that was right about Quinnipiac. Sacred Heart loses a ton of players. Bryant, Sienna, who are way down on the list, also lose a bunch of players. But really, it's Quinnipiac's for the taking next year, in my opinion.
Yeah, Quinnipiac or Ryder. Ryder, in the last 15 years, has made 12 MAAC championship games. I mean, it's
unreal.
Almost unheard of.
Right. Now that's going to do it. I got this one, Morey. That's going to do it here for our first segment. But after the break, we will talk about the men's ice hockey team and their weekend sweep of Cornell and Colgate, and what set off Cornell head coaches in a fiery post-game press conference. That's all coming up next on Bobcat Breakdown.
Welcome to Joya Spa and Salon in Hamden. Whether you want a new look or the perfect wedding day hair, come to us for complete hair and nail care, cuts, styles, updos, extensions, and beautiful dimensional hair color, as well as manis and pedis, acrylics, gels, and shellac. Treat yourself to a facial, a peel, or microdermabrasion. Relax with a variety of massage techniques, including Swedish and hot stone massage. Joya Spa and Salon. Call today.
Source for entertainment news.
Haven's premier cosmetology service, located at 140 Washington Avenue, minutes from Hamden. We offer an array of services, from basic cuts and colors to lash extensions and formaldehyde-free keratin treatments. We also provide hair chalk and styling for men. When you spend $60, your Q card will get you 10% off. Call us at 203-239-6477 to make your next appointment at a sheer sensation.
Wake up, Quinnipiac! It's the morning after! Hey! Come on, guys, it's time for TMA! Let's go! What's the morning after? Mondays at 10, only on Q30!
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. The men's ice hockey team blanked the once fourth-ranked Colgate Raiders on Friday 5-0. Sam Annis got the Bobcats going early with 2 first-period goals. From there, the Bobcats cruised to the finish. Soren Janssen, Landon Smith, and Tim Clifton also added to the beating. Then on Saturday, the Bobcats came back with the same amount of defensive intensity. Michael Gartig once again followed up a shutout on Friday with another the next day. Tim Clifton broke a scoreless tie with less than 3 minutes left in the third period, giving the Bobcats all they would need in a 1-0 victory over the visiting Big Red.
In the second period in the Cornell game, Quinnipiac forward Matt Pekka was called for a 5-minute major and a game misconduct penalty for hitting from behind. Quinnipiac head coach Rand Pecknold called for a dive on the play. Pecknold's plea set off Cornell head coach Mike Schaefer in a post-game interview with QBSN. Take a look.
Yeah, I guess my first comment is I wanted to be loud and clear. I thought what their coach there was classes. Kid gets head first into the boards. The same kid that broke his neck, and he's calling for embellishment. You talk about respecting the game with our athletes on the ice. I mean, you know, show some integrity to the game. You know, it pisses me off. We've been down here before the issue a couple of years ago in the playoffs where he ran the score up and then apologized, and he tries to apologize for the you know, trying to get an embellishment call and a head first into the boards. I mean, the kid's lucky he didn't break his neck. You know, and I guess that's our scoring woes continue. What else can we say is that thought Mitch played well, their goalie played well, we didn't play the back of the net, and they capitalized late in the game. It had nothing to do with the players on the ice. It had everything to do with their head coach. You know, screaming and asking for embellishment. You know, when you wonder why the guys are pissed at the end. You know, at center ice. You know, it's not the kids. You know, they take the lead from us. So yeah, I contribute to it because I'm pissed off at their coach at the end of the game for being such a bull. So, but it is what it is. I think we're part of. It's not junior hockey. We're not NHL hockey. I mean, come on. The kid gets head first in the board. The kid gets hurt, goes down. You don't start yelling from the freaking bench and looking for extra minutes or no minutes. You're concerned for the kids. Kids aren't concerned. If it was his kid would have worked. They got to be a little freaking concerned. Maybe not.
Looking at that hit, Morey, do you think embellishment could have been called on Cornell's Cole Bardreau?
No, I don't think embellishment could have been called. What I think was that there was no problem with Rand Pecknold asking for embellishment. And as we just heard, Mike Schaefer got very heated in his post-game press conference. And that was partly because Bardreau broke his neck last year on a similar play. So he's just defending his player. I don't think embellishment should have been called. I don't even know if Matt Pekka should have been thrown out of the game.
What? Clearly.
The puck is going towards the boards, okay? Bardreau on the replay shows that he was going towards the puck and he turns his body to take a look at Pekka. Pekka hits him square on the shoulder. Yes, his feet were parallel to the boards and square on with Pekka, but I think because he turned and it hit and Pekka came onto his shoulder, I think it should have just been a 2-minute penalty.
No. Clearly, you're right, parallel, and he was hitting from behind, so it's an automatic 5-minute major penalty and a game misconduct. Pekka automatically thrown out of the game. There's no question. No question whatsoever. And I don't understand why Rand Pecknold was calling for embellishment. Not even close. Should have been out of the game immediately, and the refs did a great job.
No, I disagree. I still think even though the feet were parallel and square to Pekka, he turned his shoulder. And when you turn, the back is not 100% in full vision to Pekka, the ensuing player who's going to make the hit. And I think because there was some separation between the board and Bardreau, that once the ref saw Bardreau fall into the board, that's why he called it a game misconduct.
Clearly a game misconduct. Another thing I want to mention, though, another reason Schaefer was a little upset was because it wasn't like Pecknold was like, oh, is Bardreau okay? Is he okay? Because I'm sure he knew he broke his neck last year. I think if it was the other way around, like Schaefer said, if someone on Quinnipiac had gotten an injury like that, I'm sure Schaefer would be like, oh, is he okay? Instead of checking on him, he was like, clearly embellishment, clearly embellishment. I think it was a little...
I don't think we're questioning Rand Pecknold's heart about other players. He definitely cares about other players in the ECAC.
That's not what I said.
He's looking out for his team. It was a big game on a Saturday following a beating of Colgate. You're trying to get the win. It's a 0-0 game. I disagree with you. I think Rand Pecknold was fine with asking for embellishment. He's just asking the referee a question. Head coaches have free reign to ask the referees whatever they want.
But at the end of the day, it was clearly a game misconduct. Clearly thrown out of the game. Refs did a really, really good job, in my opinion.
But besides all of the drama that occurred on the weekend, the Bobcats had a very solid weekend. Even more so, the defense and the goaltending of Michael Gartig. Do you think this weekend stood out as a turning point for this defense and Michael Gartig?
Yeah, sure, I'll give it a turning point. But at the end of the day, I really want to see this defense and Gartig play well on the road. And they're 2 games away from Hampden. They've given up 10 goals and both losses to UMass Lowell and to UConn at Bridgeport. I really want to see this defense play well on the road, and once they do that, then I'll say something great about this defense. But it was a good turning point, sure.
Yeah, it was a good turning point, but I think it was a now or never situation. They were coming in at 3-2-1, 2 wins over a Northeastern team who at the time didn't have a win. I think they calmed down the Hampden haters. We can agree on that. I think they're going to be fine, though, on the road. Michael Gartig has had plenty of experience last year playing in big games. They were ranked pretty much in the top 10, top 15 the whole year. This whole D-core is coming back, spearheaded by Alex Barron and Danny Federico, along with Devontae's a great defender.
But can we agree they played horrible on the road? Can we agree with that?
Yes, they've played horrible on the road.
Right. So you've got.
It wasn't even a true road game, though.
Okay, but UMass Lowell.
Yes, the UMass Lowell. The UConn game though wasn't on the road, and I think
4-1.
I think in-conference games are a little bit different. I think the beginning of the year, the teams are still trying to figure out lines. As Rand Pecknold will touch on in a little bit, changed up the lines. I just think conference play, it's a whole different animal.
But you've got Union and RPI coming up this weekend on the road. If they can play really well, then I'll say that this defense has really turned it around. But until then,
I think they will play pretty well. Well, when we come back, it's college basketball time here in Hampden. Dylan and I are going to have our own MAAC preseason polls for you and much more. Stick it here. You're watching Bobcat Breakdown.
Welcome to A Sheer Sensation, North Haven's premier cosmetology service, located at 140 Washington Avenue, minutes from Hampden. We offer an array of services from basic cuts and colors to lash extensions and formaldehyde-free keratin treatments. We also provide hair chalk and styling for men. When you spend $60, your Q card will get you 10% off. Call us at 203-239-6477 to make your next appointment at A Sheer Sensation.
Welcome to Joya Spa and Salon in Hampden. Whether you want a new look or the perfect wedding day hair, come to us for complete hair and nail care. Cuts, styles, updos, extensions, and beautiful dimensional hair color, as well as manis and pedis, acrylics, gels, and shellac. Treat yourself to a facial, a peel, or microdermabrasion. Relax with a variety of massage techniques, including Swedish and hot stone massage. Joya Spa and Salon. Call today.
the morning after. Hey! Come on, guys, it's time for TMA. Let's go. What's the morning after? Mondays at 10, only on Q30.
Welcome back. For all you mid-major college basketball junkies out there, the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference just released its men's preseason coaches poll. Topping the list were the Iona Gales, followed by Siena, Manhattan, St. Peter's, and Quinnipiac to round out the top 5. Morey, you've heard the coaches poll. What's your preseason coaches poll?
I want to come out and say that it's total blasphemy that Siena is ahead of Manhattan. An unproven team cannot be ahead of a team who just won the conference tournament and went on and almost defeated a Louisville Cardinals team who won the national championship the year before. So with that being said, I'm going to go with the Iona Gales to start off. I think they're the clear-cut #1 team in this conference. AJ English, David Lowry, two unbelievable players, both all MAAC first-team selections. They're long, they're lanky, they're quick. Tim Cluse, great coach. I think this Iona team will win the MAAC regular season. Then I have the Manhattan Jaspers, a slew of players coming back. Emmy Andujar, Ashton Pankey down low. This team full court pressures you the whole game. So I have Steve Masiolo's team coming in at 2. Siena there at 3. Yes, they bring back everyone. Yes, Rob Poole. Yes, Brett Bisping. Yeah, they won the CBI. Whoop-de-doo. You don't just put them ahead of like a Manhattan. That's why I have them below Iona and Manhattan. They're not established yet. Then I have a Quinnipiac team at 4th, rounding out with a St. Peter's at 5th. I want to mention one player. Quadir Welton was a freshman last year, had an outstanding freshman season. He's going to be the key to St. Peter's finishing top 5. Not Desi Washington, not Travis Weish, not Marvin Dominique. Everyone in the MAAC knows what they can do. It's how much Quadir Welton can raise his level of play.
Well, I can understand why Siena's picked second because, as you just said, they bring back everyone. And Manhattan lost George Beeman and Ramel Brown to graduation. 2 players that clearly without them wouldn't have done anything in the MAAC last year. Clearly.
Correct.
They carried the team, they carried the load, and they almost beat a Louisville team in the NCAA tournament. Now that they leave, I bring back, they bring in Jermaine Lawrence, a transfer from Cincinnati, to fill that void, which is why I have Manhattan at second too. Obviously, we all know Iona is the best team in the MAAC right now. David Lowry is the preseason player of the year. AJ English obviously was named a mid-major All-American for College Sports Madness. I have Quinnipiac at 4, and this is why they bring back a lot of
at 3 or 4?
4. Four. I have Siena at 3.
Okay.
Siena at 3 because as they bring everyone back, they just won a postseason tournament. They have a great coach. I have Iona, Manhattan, then Siena, then Quinnipiac, and this is why they bring out a lot of experience. It's Usman Drame, Evan Conti, and Zayed Hurst last year to get it done. They've never made an NCAA tournament appearance in program history. This is the year to get it done. If they don't get it done this year, it's not going to happen for another couple of years. I'm telling you that right now. This is the year to get it done. If you don't get it done this year, it's not going to happen until at least 2016, 2017. That clearly.
Teams have gone on runs before.
Please.
In other conferences. You can't come out and make that statement.
Kasim Chandler and Sam Dingbo aren't going to be able to lead this team to the NCAA tournament. It's this 3.
Chase Daniels, Aaron Hutton. It's a guard-dominated conference.
Chase Daniels,
just because Usman Drame and Igazatam leave in a 2-year run doesn't mean that the Bobcats are just not going to contend.
To be completely honest with you, they would have made it last year if Umar Shannon hadn't gotten hurt. I'm telling you that right now.
You said they
That's
what?
what I believe. They would have made the NCAA tournament last year if Umar Shannon hadn't gotten hurt.
Okay. And guys have bad shooting performances.
Ike was a little hurt too.
Guys have bad shooting performances, off nights. You never know what could happen. It wasn't a given. If Umar Shannon was playing, the Bobcats would have made the tournament.
That's what I believe. That's what I believe. If Ike Igazatam was 100% healthy, Umar Shannon was 100% healthy, they would have made the NCAA tournament. I have them at 4 this year. It's their final chance to get it done. And I have St. Peter's at 5, just like you. But unlike you, it's not going to be Quadir Welton that's going to have to get it done. Marvin Dominique's going to lead this team to a top 5 finish in the MAAC this year.
Well, he tried to lead them last year, and they didn't. So, on the other side, a lot more parity in the women's preseason poll. Atop the conference, there was a tie for first place between the defending MAAC champion Marist Red Foxes and the 2014 runner-up Quinnipiac Bobcats. Iona follows suit in 3rd, with Fairfield and Niagara rounding out the top 5. Ryder, Manhattan, Canisius, Monmouth, Siena, and St. Peter's are the teams in order picked to finish 6 through 11. Agree or disagree?
I completely disagree because I find it extremely hard to believe how Joy Adams and D'Amica Martinez are all Americans in the entire country. They're two of the best players, apparently, and they're third in the MAAC.
Without
it's
a
blasphemy.
doubt.
It's complete and utter blasphemous.
I agree.
Blasphemy.
They need to be first.
Yeah, absolutely, no question. And then, I don't know, Quinnipiac is tied for first. That I don't get that at all. They need to be third. It's going to be Iona and Marist and Quinnipiac. Quinnipiac, again, just like the men's team, a lot of seniors, and if they don't get it done this year, it's not going to happen for another couple of years. Sam Guastella, Jasmine Martin, Boo Abshire, it's their last chance to go back to the dance for the second time in their 4-year career. They're going to have to really, really play well and step up. They got some really good freshmen too, though. Jen Fay was named College Sports Madness Freshman of the Year for the MAAC. Then I have Ryder coming in at 5, Fairfield's at 4. So it's the same top 4 as last year, just in a different order. And Ryder's going to be at 5. They're looking really good too. But I just don't understand. I don't understand at all how Iona's third.
I agree. I have Marist and Iona tied atop the conference at 1. Sydney Coffey, Madison Blaze, Brian George is an unbelievable coach for the Marist Red Foxes, has had them at the top of the mid-major poll for the last decade. I have Quinnipiac coming in at 3rd. Now, if you were to ask me who's going to win the MAAC tournament, I think Quinnipiac and Trisha Fabry are a total new beast once it comes playoff time.
Right.
Regular season last year, they were 14-6 in 4th place. All 6 losses came to the top 3 teams. They got swept by the top 3 teams. But then you saw game planning and you saw things on the court that you didn't see in the regular season up in Springfield. And I think Quinnipiac will get to that championship game. Whether they win or whether they lose, we have to see how this season plays out. But that's why I have Quinnipiac at 3rd in the regular season. I think they have the ability to win it all in the regular season, but something about just the daily grind of the MAAC doesn't appeal to me. That's why I have Quinnipiac coming in 3rd, and Fairfield and then Canisius coming in 5th.
Well, you saw them play at another level in the conference tournament. You know what I also saw? Saw them blow it in the MAAC championship against Marist. It was remarkable. I didn't know how they were able to do that. But once they cut it from, let's say, 17 to 9 or 8, I knew at that point Marist was going to get it done, and they did. It was remarkable watching that at home, how they blew a 17-point lead.
Well, I think part of the reason why the lead got away from them was because Boo Abshire picked up her 3rd foul late in the first half.
So I don't understand why she wasn't taken out of the game after the second foul.
I agree. That's a total different conversation. Right. That's something Trisha Fabry and the team doesn't want to talk about at all. But yes, but still, okay, she picks up her 3rd foul in the beginning of the second half. She picks up her 4th on a somewhat breakaway play that, does 2 points really matter? Does she really need to go after the ball, go after that player?
Right.
So I think now that Boo Abshire comes back after a whole new off-season, it's her senior year, I think she's even more capable of making less mental mistakes and leading this team even more from the point guard position. She's one of the best point guards statistically in the country. Assists per game, she's up there top 10 the whole year.
True. Just one final thing, and I know we mentioned it again. Complete blasphemy how Iona wasn't picked first. 2 All-Americans. 2. Not just 1. You've got 2 All-Americans on your team, and you're a MAAC team, and you were picked 3rd.
And D'Amica Martinez was picked 19th overall in the WNBA mock draft. I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking.
What were you thinking?
Iona did lose Jaredone. They lost Alicia Powell, and they lost 2 other pieces.
Brittany McQuain.
Yeah, but 3 starters, when you lose 60% of your starting lineup, that kind of takes a hit. One thing we also didn't mention was Quinnipiac brought in Val Driscoll, a transfer from Michigan, who had a great year in the Big Ten last year. Statistically, not really, but the presence inside, I think she definitely fills the gap that a Cameron Warner and a Brittany McQuain had last year. That's why I think the Bobcats are going to go.
They got a really deep bench this year. We don't know. Jen Fay, can she even get into the starting lineup? You've got Maria Napolitano, you've got Nicolene Ostergaard that can really contribute to this team on the bench. That's all the time we have for you guys tonight. We hope you enjoyed the new setup and our new style of the show.
For more information about Quinnipiac Athletics, you can follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook at Q30 Sports. And don't forget to check out our website at Q30television.com. For our producers, the technical team, and Dylan Fearon, I'm Morey Hershgordon. Have an excellent night.